History of bilingual education policies in the United States. 1920 to early 1960s. Sink or swim policies take prominence in schools. Little remedial services are offered for bilingual students. Students generally held at grade level until deemed proficient enough in English to move on to the next level. This was harmful to bilingual students in more ways than one. These students were not adequately provided for in schools, and as a result, their education suffered. 1964 Civil Rights Act, Title VI. This prohibits discrimination on the basis of one's race, color, and national origin when it comes to all federally funded or assisted programs in schools. This benefited bilingual education by setting a foundation against discrimination in schools against students that are bilingual. 1968, the Bilingual Education Act, Title VII. This was Title VII of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1968, a federal policy that provided bilingual education for economically disadvantaged language minorities, funnels funding for innovative programs, and understands and acknowledges the educational disadvantages that non-English speaking students face daily. This was huge for bilingual education. This is one of the first policies that directly benefited and funded bilingual education programs in schools. 1974, Serna versus Portales. The 10th Circuit Court of Appeals found that Spanish surnamed students' achievement levels were below those of their Anglo counterparts. The court ordered Portales municipal schools to implement a bilingual/bicultural curriculum, revise procedures for assessing achievement, and hire bilingual school personnel. This was a big success for bilingual education. The courts began recognizing the inconsistencies and unfair disadvantage bilingual students had as a result of no bilingual education programs. 1978, Amendment to Title VII. The First Amendment expanded the eligibility of bilingual programs to students who are limited English proficient, or LEP, and ensured the permanent enrollment of bilingual students in bilingual programs. This was big for bilingual education because it expanded the reach beyond students who already speak a decent amount of English in addition to their native language. 1981, Castaneda versus Pickering. Considered one of the most significant court decisions affecting language minority students. Court of Appeals set a basic standard for determining if a district is compliant with EEOA. The rules are as follows. 1. Theory. The school must pursue a program based on an educational theory recognized as sound or, at least, as a legitimate experimental strategy. 2. Practice. The school must actually implement the program with instructional practices, resources, and personnel necessary to transfer theory to reality. 3. Results. The school must not persist in a program that fails to produce results. 1982, Amendment to Title VII. This amendment does the following: allows for native language maintenance, provides funding for programs assisting LEP students with special needs, provides support for family English literacy programs, emphasizes the need and importance for quality teacher training. This was beneficial for bilingual education in more ways than one. Providing program funding for LEP students with special needs, what some might consider a double minority, was a big leap. In addition, support for quality teacher training benefits every student, not just bilingual or LEP students. 1988, Amendment to Title VII. This amendment increased funding to all state education agencies. It also expanded special alternative programs in which English is the only language used and created many fellowship programs for professional training for educators. This amendment built on the one from 1982, furthering the improvements in education for bilingual students. 1994, reconfiguration of Title VII programs. Many new provisions were approved and put in place in 94 for Title VII. They include as follows. Professional development programs are reinforced. Increase attention to foreign language instruction and language maintenance. Increase and improve research and evaluations taking place at state and local levels, and supply funds for immigrant education. These benefited bilingual education by continuing to push forward the policies and improvements these students deserve. 2001, No Child Left Behind, Title III. This title of NCLB, or No Child Left Behind Act, allocates funds to the states for the purpose of improving education for LEPs, or limited English proficient students, by assisting children to learn English and meet challenging state academic content and student academic achievement standards. This provided federal funding for the sole purpose of enhancing the education LEPs and bilingual students were receiving and ensuring that they are able to meet state standards. Citations: A chronology of federal law and policy impacting language minority students.